So in this video now we're going to show how we implemented the more complex version of the slider where the image changes in real time as we move the slider up and down. So let's go back to design mode and see how we did that. So you can see now that instead of having an image control as we did previously, we now have a freeform container which is available over here in the list of containers. We still have the same rating control with all the same properties as 0 to 5 range and then a slider message. But let's now go look at this freeform container. So I'm going to open up the freeform container, and what I see inside the freeform container are a whole bunch of image tags with the built-in alpha 5 image over here. So there's 0 stars, 1 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars, etc. Now, of course, you could have your own PNG file or JPEG file here referencing any image in your web project folder. But since we're using built-in alpha 5 images, we use the syntax of A5res : images. So this is just simply the syntax that we use for referencing an image that's actually built into alpha 5 as opposed to a physical image in your web projects folder. And the important thing to note here is that the style for all of these images is set to display none. So all of these images are currently hidden, and each image has an ID. So the first image is S0, S1, S2, S3, S4, etc. So when we first display the dialog, all of the images are going to be hidden. And then if we go to the slider and look at the JavaScript events, you can see that the onSlide event calls now a JavaScript event called onSlide. And if we just make the little help here bigger, we can see that actually if we bring up the builder here and then show the function prototype, it tells us what's inside the E object that gets passed into the onSlide event. So let's now go look at our JavaScript. And if we look at the JavaScript, we can see that the first thing that we do is we loop over all 6 images and set their style to none. So first thing that we're going to do is hide all the images. So basically we're looping from 0 to 5, and then we're basically getting a pointer to the image. So this is going to be S0, then S1, then S2, etc. And we're saying style.display equals none. So this is hiding all of the images. And then the onSlide event, you can see here in the comments, we can see that inside the E object that is passed in is something called E.value, which is the value of the slider. So now we're going to say that, for example, if the value of the slider is 2, then this is going to be S2, and then we're going to display that image. So after hiding all the images, we're going to pick one image to actually display, and that's all that's required to basically display the appropriate image. But then one additional improvement that we can make is we can also set up the initial state as well. So if I go to controls and go to say rating, and let's go now and choose a default value for rating, say of 3, and then run our dialog, we can see that the slider is set to 3. That happens automatically. But the image with 3 stars is also shown. So let's go and see how we did that. So let's go back to design mode right now and then go to our client-side events, and you can see that we have an event called onRenderComplete. So in the onRenderComplete event, we're going to read the value of the rating field, and then if that value is blank, we're going to set it to 0. Then we're going to loop over all of the images and set their display to none, which technically should be unnecessary because in the freeform region we already set the display of everything to none. But there's no harm done by this, just to be sure. And then we're going to go and turn on the appropriate image. So rating now is going to have a value of 3, so we're turning on the value of the 3rd image over there. So you can see that to add this more desirable behavior, we just had to add a small amount of JavaScript. Thanks very much.